Here's Marcus Maben and Steve Rummage.
Welcome back. It's midday with Marcus Maben. 8150 93.9 is the number. 93.9 is the station. And people, if you're listening to it, I hope you're listening to this show from a very, very warm and comfortable place. Because that road is not warm, not comfortable, very, very cold. Steve Rummage in the building, Brian Hall in the booth.
Well, one day closer to moving into the part of the basketball season that's exciting. One day closer to Jeff Brom being the head coach at Louisville.
Oh, you're just not going to leave any options to bail out.
I know. I'm not at all.
There's no moonwalking. There's no area for a moonwalk.
This is excitement time around the University of Louisville, so it's fun.
Brian Hall in the booth. Brian, what's going on, my man?
Nothing too much, guys. I was on the way coming in myself through the cold weather, and I was listening to New York Mike's story with Drew Diener, and I was just really getting into it, and I was kind of upset that Drew cut him off and only gave him a minute. I wanted to see where the story was going.
Did you tell Drew about it?
It's not really a story to talk about. You got to have New York Mike tell you. It's a New York gangster.
No, did you tell Drew about cutting people off? Because people would tell me in a heartbeat.
Made me think about it. Don't cut me off right now. I'm kind of angry.
Right. Next time he comes through, just let him know. Just snatch him from the hallway and say, hey, Drew, about your cutting people off.
Hey, come on, man.
Listen, I ain't afraid to say it. I don't like to hear that dude's stories. I think he's admitting to crimes most of the time on the air. Like, I don't want no part of it.
These are closer to felonies than we'd like to admit.
Yeah.
They're all cute and cuddly till you find out they're real.
They become real.
You're right.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Speaking of cutting people off, let me just start off the show saying this. It was slippery from yesterday evening to today. I passed that black RAV4 that needs to go to Bill Edscorn's Collision Center. I passed that Toyota with Prius or something that needs to go to Bill Edscorn's Son Collision Center. And I even passed a couple of cars that might want to see Kenny at Globe Auto. Point being, there was some damage out there yesterday. Take care of yourself, people. Slow down. And again, Bill Edscorn's and Sons Collision Center. Go ahead and type that in if that's who you need to talk to. So, Steve, we opened the show with a little excitement head towards basketball season. But here's the thing. Conversation outside of the shop turns into on-air shop talk. Now, people, what do you want to do? 8150 93.9 is the number. 3831 93.9 is the text line. Here's what Steve did. Steve set you up with a little, we're closer to Jeff Brom. You know me, people. I'm one who likes to slow down and enjoy the process. I like to smell the roses. I encourage people to enjoy the game, enjoy the bad times, enjoy the dysfunction. You get your fair share being a Louisville fan. You get your fair share of greatness. You get your fair share of exciting basketball, exciting football, exciting baseball, damn sure exciting soccer. Congratulations again, ACC championship, the men's soccer team. But you get my point. You get your share of the good times. Appreciate the little bit, I don't want to say dysfunction because it doesn't feel quite as dysfunction, but let's do this really quick. Let's talk about the whammy situation, right? I hesitated to just use the name whammy. I'd rather have went with Coach Ward, right? But it's kind of catching its own, flame,
Sure.
just the whammy
It's
boys.
the interim coach.
Right.
Yeah.
Although again, call me by my real name, not the biggest thing because it is opportunity. But we talk about this a lot of times. When you come on somebody else's radio show, you don't want to be the nickname on day one.
No.
You want people to know your name and get to know you. And
I got a name.
So right. So that's my point. But for all intents and purposes, we'll go with whammy.
Okay.
Now, I believe it was a Courier Journal article, kind of just came out. It was an interview. I forget the name. Maybe I'll give credit in the second hour because I'm sure I'll rehash the story. I want to know your opinion on this. Now, I can be a little fickle sometimes. I can be a little picky, like the whammy name. I can read a little too deep into it. Phil Baker stopped me yesterday as I was leaving the building. He said, only you could psychoanalyze the positives and negatives versus Stephen Enoch and Malik Williams rooming together. Remember I said I didn't like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see them a little more in competitive mode, just natural competitive mode. I would put Malik Williams with either Christian Cunningham or Darius Perry, and I'd turn them into mortal enemies, right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Psychoanalyzing the article, Jalen Smith.
Okay.
One thing that catches my attention. Jalen Smith says it's a new culture. Culture has changed with the replacement of the coaches.
Right.
Okay. I believe you know how I feel. I believe most listeners know how I feel about this one. I'm one that tells you when the superstar goes, people step up their game. I am one that tells you a move like that gives everybody a breath of fresh air, kind of energy renewed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I got to say, I'm a little uncomfortable with, it's a great culture now, 2-3 days after a coach leaves, right? To me, that feels like a little bit of too much of my kids are getting bad grades because y'all aren't teaching them right.
Right.
I know that, every teacher and every, person in charge can get, is not above criticism. Am I wrong for being a little uncomfortable with that quick everything's all good now and that was you lead in drops. Like, I'm not harping on you, but I'm like, your play probably dictates you shouldn't be the guy saying, oh, it's great now because that coach was a problem and now it's all good. Or do you just does it not take rent any space in your mind?
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, because I kind of had the same thought.
Really?
I'm like, yeah, I did. I thought, you can't be one of the you can't be a guy
who did not meet expectations.
Well, especially when look, I mean, you wasn't voted a captain as a senior,
See, I didn't even factor that in.
Yeah, so that was kind of people at the beginning of the year were like, well, that's kind of odd. And then to be a guy I feel like has underperformed a little bit this year.
Right, and not harping. Like I said, we won't get emotional. It's early in the morning. We're not harping on the kid. We're just saying.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, because he's not the only one that said it. I mean, everybody's kind of saying that. So, but in the same breath, this is my thing, and I'm always, and it don't make for good
even
radio.
If it's a placebo kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's not always the best radio conversation, but this is where I say I'm also wasn't in the locker room. So I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe it was just a direct disconnect this year where it was like, man, this relationship is severed. We ain't playing for this dude. And I said it like that for a reason. We ain't playing for this dude anymore.
Right.
And now that it's gone. But anytime, again, I will go back to say, you brought up a great reference. Anytime you knew there was a sub, my son woke up the other day and was like, hey, man, we got a sub today. I mean, he's 9.
Right.
I'm like, okay. Yeah, no, it's going to be fun.
I used to love that too.
I know, me too.
Right.
Me too. So, yeah, anytime, because
it's a renewed enthusiasm.
But I think the renewed enthusiasm is, hey, because every interim coach gives the same speech. What, not the same. I'm not discrediting what the coaches are doing over there right now. But all positions are open. Especially on a team, because usually when there's an interim coach outside of a health circumstance,
right,
you're not very good. So your games probably
you're
don't
not
have
experienced. You may be good, but
your record's not very good.
Right.
Your
team, okay.
Yeah, is what I mean is your team, your record. Your record's not going to matter pretty much, so the games are somewhat irrelevant in the big scheme of things as far as this season.
Right.
So all positions are open, and I think that brings a new excitement. But if I'm looking at, if I'm somebody like Jalen Smith or somebody like that, I'm like, all positions open may not be a good thing.
Right. Because had you been, okay, I'll ask this question. Had Jalen Smith been under a new coach at Game 4, is he still starting? Is he still receiving that many targets?
I think so. I think he's not receiving that many targets. He's starting. I think he's starting out of position at times. So
he would have been starting at maybe a slot position or
maybe
something.
well, I don't know if he would be slot just because I don't know if he runs that type of route. But then again, maybe he would. I mean, maybe I don't think he would have been your go-to guy because from what I've watched on this team, there's one guy that can catch an 8-yard stop route and take it for 40, and that's Des Fitzpatrick.
Right.
Or one guy that's done it this year. I think there's more guys capable.
I think Seth Dawkins did it one time as well.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
But you get the point. They have way too much production to not have been targeted.
Right. So it's going to be interesting to see how, because these coaches, they have people sometimes think interim coaches is like, well, they don't care. No, they're trying to get jobs.
They care more than anybody.
They're jobless right now.
Yep. Incumbent. Yeah.
I mean, like when the season's over, you're jobless. Because even if you hire Jeff Brom and Jeff Brom keeps some of these on, you still got to get hired again by Jeff Brom. Like you don't just keep your job, So these guys are trying to get jobs right now. So I think you're going to see guys that they want to win. And what if they come in here? Look, I'll shut this down right now. There's no scenario that the head coach is on that staff right now.
Right.
Absolutely not. If they win the next 2 games by 40,
right?
They're not. But
no Edge Orgeron here.
No. But if they do come out and win the next 2 games, say they did. I'm not saying they will, but say they did.
You retain him as a safeties coach,
even if not, somebody does.
Right.
It gets the attention of coaches that are like,
North Carolina State will bring you.
Yeah. So Bobby got fired, and all of a sudden okay. And
people forget they're always looking for upgrades.
Yeah. So you'll cherry pick some people off his staff.
Not to mention, you bust them, you're the story.
Oh yeah.
You do realize, out of all the top 20, you go out and bust North Carolina State. That'll be the story.
Well, and listen, we said this when he was hired. Agree or don't agree with it. And I wanted him hired 100%.
I thought it feels good.
But I said, if you hire him, you need to get over it right now. People nationally do not like him.
Right.
So when you're going through that season, the Heisman Trophy season, people are going to crap on Louisville. Like, I mean, that's how it is.
Yep.
I mean, people do not like him. So
and haven't liked him. Yeah, haven't.
So now
people and it's not just Atlanta. It wasn't just Arkansas. No. Listen, they didn't like him having to. You remember when he was putting up those numbers?
Yeah.
Back when you're CUSA,
yep,
and you're running up those digits, people, he's just trying. He was a thorn in the side then.
Yeah.
It wasn't it may have not been necessarily because he treated people bad.
Yep.
It's just you're a thorn. It's kind of the way people don't like Louisville. Like we got undue criticism for scandal when a Tennessee rides on hostesses and recruits. We turned into the cruddy, underbelly. So there's some thorn in your side. You're not one of us kind of thing that you just got to deal with.
But for these next 2 games, I think people want to praise Louisville.
Oh, yeah. That's my point.
Because he lost.
Yeah, you're going to be the darling.
Yeah, and if you come out and you look good these
Mac
next 2
Brom
games.
and whammy for the next 2 days puts you in the opportunity to be the nation's darling. That's a story you cannot help but to cheer for.
Yep.
Even our UK listeners can't wait to say, if you get Brom, I get it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Brom's not your guy to come in here. Only job is to beat UK all the time, and I hate them, and they suck. Like he's not going to do that.
I don't know.
No. We'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, because I don't agree with that.
You got a chance to be a darling. I don't think he comes right here and just opens up smack talk.
I would bet.
Would you believe more Mac doing it or Brom?
Brom.
Yeah, me too. I was going to mention a name and get in trouble. Lawrence, thanks for joining us on the Scoring Collisions in the Hotline, my man. Fire away.
Yes.
What's going on?
You do understand I do work third shift sometimes. It's going to be times where I'm going to be able to call you guys because I'll be probably asleep.
You mad at me for calling you out yesterday?
Like my brother texted me talking about, Mark called you out. Just like, what?
That's fair, man. He was working.
But I got to ask, why is college football so afraid of Jeff Brown taking the Louisville job? You got some idiot on the SEC network saying the Purdue job better than the Louisville job. got these other people on Twitter, new broadcast talking about Brom don't need to take the Louisville job. Are they guys afraid of Louisville becoming a powerhouse in football?
No,
Is it fair? What is it?
Listen, look, Lawrence, I appreciate the call. We're talking about. Are we not on air, Brian?
We're on air.
I got a text that says, "Why are you not on air?"
Apparently, our streaming system has been knocked down by some ice stuff, so we're looking at that.
That's not okay. Somebody sabotaging us.
On the radio, but some of the streams are kind of out.
Yeah. So
okay. So here's the thing about what Lawrence said. Now I don't do the cliche, us against the world, us against the world.
Yeah.
Right. I use tangible evidence.
Yeah.
When you get, it started with, probably, I don't know who's first between Dick Vitale or Booger McFarland, right? Pick your national pundit who ends up becoming famous by taking shots at Louisville. You know, like pick your situation where you saw it was okay to fire away at Louisville, where you'd be a lot more cautious about the way you talk about other programs. So to your point, Lawrence, they're not like directly scared, in my opinion. But here's the thing. It's such a done deal. The only way you can make it a story is by coming up with a way it's not a done deal. It's kind of like we're not the only school. Like you get a Boise, you get a Central Florida. Like they can't wait to get on the TV and talk about how Central Florida has no shot at anything and stop thinking about it. You know how many people are just like praying that Central Florida loses? Mm-hmm. Like nobody wants to see. Nobody in the SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, or Pac-10 want to see UCF get a shot.
Well, no, of course not.
Because if they get a shot, you open up the entire field of football teams to have to get their shot.
Well, it's just like the BCS. You remember when the first team got in the BCS from outside the Cinderella team, then it was kind of an every year thing. You started to put one to where now there's a clause where basically you take one Power 5 outside team. It'd be the same way with the playoff. One of them cracked the playoff, so UCF gets in the playoff. They'd probably be a 4 seed, which this year they would get just absolutely hammered. But
listen, here the problem is there's 15 other teams that played Alabama somewhat close, and are going to say we were ready to beat Alabama this time.
Oh yeah,
and we lost our spot to some crappy UCF because if we were there, we'd be undefeated too. You know, so you're going to get that every single time.
But I'm also
the pushback.
In the same breath, I can't be a hypocrite on that because I'm also like, UCF, you ain't playing enough people. You don't. I'm sorry. I can't watch big-time college
Notre
football.
Dame lost to Radford
Last night. Yeah.
Did you watch that?
Yeah. I watched the last about 3 minutes of it. That's why I don't do money lines anymore.
Listen, that's why we're going to spend the rest of our next 48 hours talking about Vermont, Louisville.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. But to his whole point, Greg McElroy's kind of getting on that Booger McFarland train. Yeah. He's kind of jumped on that. He's kind of the one that's attached to – I watched it kind of organically happen probably 3 days ago on College Game Day Live the show, the College Football Live during the day.
Same day.
Yeah, and he kind of started that. And he's like, Purdue, why would he go to Louisville? Well, it's like, okay, you're trying to follow, right? But Booger McFarland, that whole thing.
Yeah, it's a winning formula.
So then McElroy, he has that opinion. Then they grab him on another show, and they're like, oh, well, hey, you tell us why. And then he kind of goes a little more in depth on why.
And he sees the heat he's picking up.
Yeah, and it's an ignorant. It really makes no sense. The point he's making is absolutely ignorant. Just to be honest with you, it makes no sense.
When you say ignorant?
Because it's ignorant I'm assuming ignorance. I don't say ignorant, just I'm assuming
it's
ignorance
not a name called
because I'm assuming
you're
that
unaware
you
of
have
everything.
never been to the University of Louisville.
Facility versus facility, stadium versus stadium. energy versus energy.
Yeah, I'm assuming
Geographically, recruiting wise.
By the way, I do want to throw this out there real quick. Louisville did get just got Jalen Withers. Boom.
I didn't put him in my notes because I'm like, you don't get to make the midday show unless you're on the dotted line.
Yeah, so they did
This
get
is
that.
awesome.
Yeah, so the Aiden Agayon. By the way, Aiden Agayon is going to be on with Ethan and the guys tonight.
Of
LSL.
course
I know they said.
Of course
they
he
said
is.
they tweeted yesterday. They said we're moved to tomorrow night. I was like, or the tweet was it said, hey, due to some stuff, weather and stuff, we're going to be moved to tomorrow night. And then I just replied to it and I was like, where they will have on Jeff Brom, who will announce whether he's coming to Louisville or not. I was like, I'm just assuming.
Right.
I mean, like that's the type of
Wait a
stuff
minute.
they get.
Games at 7. Are we gonna crash with them?
No, it's tomorrow. They're on tonight. We don't play tonight.
Yeah, I thought you were
Oh,
saying.
no.
I thought you were saying he moved to tomorrow night.
No, they moved last night to tonight.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so
I guarantee they'll have Brian Brom on.
even though Drew did say we had a post game tomorrow, he didn't say we had a pregame. We do got a pregame tomorrow.
We definitely got
Just
to
throwing that out there. We will be on tomorrow before the Vermont game. Absolutely.
That's a fact.
And I won't be doing a post game tomorrow because I got
Number 3.
a dinner at Jeff Ruby's afterwards.
I tell you what, quick commercial break. We'll reset the show. 8150-939 is the number on 939 The Ville.
o'clock in the 2018 NCAA Championship Tournament. Join us at Dr. Mark and Cindy Lynn Stadium for second round action. Tickets start at just $5 and can be purchased online at gocards.com or by calling 502-GO-CARDS.
Walks in, shoots, he scores!
This is Drew Diener, and you're listening to 93.9 The Ville, live from the OPC Services Studio.
Middays with Marcus Maben on 93.9 The Ville is broadcasting live from the OPC Pest Services Studio. Now, here's Marcus Maben and Steve Rummage.
Welcome back. Midday with Marcus Maben, 8150. 93.9 is the number. 93.9 is the station. People, thank me later. I did this for you. Tell a friend to tell a friend right now. People are panicking. The streams are down. Everything. You know what's not down, Steve?
What's that?
The YouTube channel.
Sounds about right.
We are made for the Ville. Tell everybody right now. Please tweet it out for us. I can't tweet it out. I'm in the middle of the show. Although, Steve, you seem to have a free moment over there.
You did tweet it out.
Could you possibly tweet out again to let people know, or retweet it? Let people know we're on We Are Made for the Ville. We're rolling along. So, people, there was a moment we almost fell into it. We were talking about Whammy getting it done against North Carolina State. How good would that feel, Steve?
Yeah, I think it would be good. As far as
it would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, as far as just kind of because I think there is an excitement. I think most people know you're most likely you're gonna get Jeff Brom in a couple weeks,
right? So might as well have a little fun.
And I think you have a little fun. Go beat two ranked teams because what it would do is it would instill the confidence back that the talent is here on this team.
The pressure went down so much the moment you knew that David Padgett.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't going to be. And no shade at David Padgett.
Absolutely.
But the pressure did change.
If you beat NC State and Kentucky or one of the two, I mean, I think that gives you every reason to look at this team next year and say expectations go up because you say that like I said, they're not. I believe
not just local expectations, national expectations.
Yeah. Because people go, oh, it was a coaching thing,
right? Bobby had just been here 1 year too long. You changed up too much of the way you do things with Lamar Jackson, which happens with anybody. You overachieve. You have a season of a lifetime. Every coach who coaches an awesome year, they end up gone within the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years. Expectations are raised.
Mm-hmm.
The national perception of Louisville would be, watch out.
Yeah.
They have, like I said, they see Tutu Atwell on his little reality show, and they see these guys on TV. So with that being said, I do expect a heavy, heavy performance. This isn't going to be the defense that says, hand the ball off and the guy goes 80 yards.
Yeah.
Even if you're catching the guy from behind, you're not going to see that guy just pulling away, that Colburn just 70 yards and everybody's in slow motion chasing them.
No, I don't think so at all, but I do think that you're going to parlay a lot of energy this weekend. And what I mean is
not fake juice.
No, not fake juice, but this is what I'm talking about. Friday night, I think you have a game that fans, it's Friday night, more fans. It's going to be your biggest crowd yet at the Center, which, don't get me wrong, I mean, you've had two games, yeah. I think that you're pulling energy from the football now to that, and vice versa. I think if the crowd shows up in a game where Louisville fans are smart, and we look at it and say, you can lose this game. You show up, the crowd's good, you win that game. I think you suck that energy over into Saturday then where people – so I think you're going to kind of parlay some energy here with those two games being at 7 o'clock at night, 12:30 the next day. I mean, a 16-hour stretch or so there where you're going to be doing both.
Speaking of carrying positive momentum, here's the thing. You ever notice how when we have these conversations about momentum and direction, so much of this ends up being blind faith, right? Like when I tell you that Vince Tyree has this situation under control because I know his perspective on something, or I feel like I'm comfortable with his perspective on something. Listeners who like or don't like us kind of have to trust either we do know what we're talking about or we don't know what we're talking about.
Right.
I believe our track record says 9 times out of 10 we know what we're talking about.
Yes.
So when it was just a number, when it was just a commit number, Steve, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it worked against us, we said, don't worry about that. Yeah, listen, J.J. Weaver or whoever else, like, don't worry. Like a commit is the soft commit, right? But when you have a basketball, people who do not necessarily root for Louisville, wanted to point out, you're not gonna, it's just a commitment, but when they see what's going on, they're not gonna, no, because he recruited a different kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
He recruited based on relationship. He didn't say nothing's gonna happen. He said he came up with ways on this campus, these facilities, you can't fail.
Right.
With my coaching, my attention to detail, my passion towards developing my players, I will not let you fail.
Yeah.
When you buy into that, commitments don't rattle you. You want to know how we knew that, Steve?
Yeah.
The day any bad news came out about Louisville, and they bombarded those kids, stuck microphones in their face.
Yes.
Bombarded them. Oh, I don't care.
Right.
First thing you heard. Don't even ask me. I'm going straight to my gram. I'm going straight to my Twitter.
Yeah.
Don't ask me. Don't listen. I'm good. Don't ask me nothing. There's no wavering here. Quinn Zielinski, don't ask me anything. I'm good. I'm going there.
Yes.
Here we are. National Letter of Intent Day. Signing day.
Yeah.
You can go down the list a little bit?
Sorry. Phil just gave me the Mr. Delivery news, and I was excited.
I'm listening.
Well, we'll have a read here in a few minutes.
Ain't nothing wrong with 2.
It's Chewy's.
Ooh.
I know.
Ooh, people, you better start. Use Mr. Delivery for your office because Steve is excited and so am I. Keep going. People can see you on YouTube.
I don't.
You keep forgetting.
Yes. No, I don't. I'm excited. Okay.
People, you got to see Steve's happy chair dance. Tell a friend, too, by the way. We are Ready for the Phil YouTube channel.
No, I mean, to already have Josh Nickelberry signature.
Yeah. His blood oath that I'm coming to the University of Louisville.
Quinn Zielinski, signature.
And he's a stock riser, stock watcher, stock riser. Might end up being more effective on this recruiting class than you originally thought.
Yeah. Jalen Withers, signature. David Johnson, signature. Samuel Williamson, signature.
Oh, man.
The Aiden Agahan situation, I think you're going to hear tonight on LSL.
Don't worry about it, y'all.
Yeah.
Sorry.
His mom was not there for his commitment ceremony. The more I put 2 and 2 together last night, because I'll admit, there was even me who was thinking about it, even with what I said yesterday.
Yeah, because I'm part to blame because I talked about how much he has a little, he likes the attention. But he got some loyalty streak in him too.
He posted an Instagram story where he went home and was seeing his mom and stuff, and he's done that over there. That's what I said yesterday. There's history here that shows him and his mom are very close. And his mom is thousands of miles away.
Right. Legitimately.
His mom had to Skype in for his commitment ceremony. And I think that this kid just said, dude,
come on,
my mom is not going to Skype again. Like,
right.
I can wait till the spring. Coach, I'm good.
No disrespect, Coach, but this, this thing's bigger than.
And I would imagine, and I don't think Coach, I mean, of course you always want the signature, but I think he would say, okay, I can deal with that. So, but anyways, though, so that you're going to get in the spring. So you essentially have 5 signatures and 6, pretty much 6.
Yeah.
So
right. You have 6
yeah.
kids that are ready to go.
Yeah, that there's no questions asked there.
Think about that. See, and again, I don't want to get overly excited. I don't want to try to drag you into my excitement. I just want to paint you a definition of when you have 6'8" Samuel Williamson on his way in here.
VJ better watch out next year.
That's a fact.
And that's not a conversation I want to have all year. That's one we'll have, because I'll be honest, the more I watch this team, you're going to have these guys, unless they transfer, you're going to have these guys back next year. I think the team you're watching, you're going to have back next year. I just do not think there's a guy that's going to go pro unless VJ just says, I cannot play a senior year. Maybe I would get that.
Right.
I would get that because I know how they look at seniors in the NBA. I mean, I hate to say it, but you lose a lot of stock. When I say, man, when I look at that and then I look at the 6 coming in, and I watch.
Listen, Jalen Withers is a long project. I mean, he's a little. Okay, we enjoyed watching those guys get better on day 1 and day 2.
Uh-huh.
A year knowing where you're going.
Yeah, but Withers, you don't need Withers to. He's the one.
That's my point. He's
he's
more
year.
Project than anything.
Yeah.
And don't sleep on him.
Absolutely. I mean, you're talking a top 60 project.
Zielinski, let's say 6. What is it? 6'7" Ryan McMahon.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's that far off. He is flying up the
6'7" Ryan McMahon.
When you add these guys in, do you know? I was looking the other day. I think it was NBA draft, and something had Aiden Agahan going 16th
after next year. I don't know, man. The way once they start calling him Baby Montrez, he's going to skyrocket up the charts.
I know.
He's one of those guys.
And he kind of looks like Trez.
That's my point, Steve. And you know how lazy reporting is. You know how lazy narrative guys are. He will be Baby Trez.
He's got the hair.
He will be Baby Trez from day 1.
I know. It's because in reality, it's going to look like Montrezl Harrell.
Right.
Like you're going to kind of see now. I do think when you see Trez, you're a little more physical. If you're next to both of them.
Trez is limber, man.
Yeah.
He has a different kind of limber.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not, but when Trez pulls the ponytail like he does now, Aiden Agahan pulls the ponytail like he's going to, you're going to feel like you're watching Montrezl Harrell on the court next year.
And what do you think Aiden Agahan is watching right now when he turns on? Who do you think his favorite player in the NBA is right now?
Montrezl Harrell.
I guarantee it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pardon my French.
No, absolutely. And here's the thing. You're going to have Malik and Enoch. I got to stop. You're going to be good next year. I got to focus on this.
Although I want it right now. And sometimes you just want things right now.
You know what I'm so glad that I don't have to worry about this year?
What's that?
That I don't have to prepare for next Wednesday night. I was watching basketball last night, and that I don't have to prepare to go to that stupid Yum Center this year and watch Anthony Simons and Romeo Langford, and Moses Brown, who's averaging 18 and 12 up at UCLA.
Who wanted that team full of divas?
Oh, I'm so glad.
Anthony Simons out there. I'm good. I'm glad he's with the Trailblazers right now.
Good for him out there, out there dropping double digits in the NBA right now, and Romeo, good. Yeah. I almost punched myself last night. Even though that's a 1-year team. I love the next year. That's going to be a top 10 basketball team.
Louisville.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
It's going to be a top 10 basketball team back in the mix to play for a Final Four and win a national championship.
Guarantee it.
And that goes back to your conversation. And the reason we're kind of bringing this up is because this is the signing period. That goes back to your conversation with why it was so important for Mac to do what he did.
You want to hit that one real quick? Because I'm, you know what? Speaking of top 10s, how about top 5s?
Okay.
You're looking at me, Steve, like you don't know where I'm going with this one.
I don't.
Steve, history is our timeline, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how history sometimes they give you single names and you just, Jordan, mailman, just thing like that, right?
Yeah.
When you think of the name Wilt,
Yeah.
right? Wilt Chamberlain.
Uh-huh.
A guy from 50 years old to 62.
Yeah.
Will just tell you Wilt Chamberlain's the best all time.
Sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Let's go, LeBron. Passed Wilt Chamberlain last night on the all-time score. Steve, did you by any chance happen to stay up and watch King James last night?
I did. Yeah, I did. I watched them in their city jerseys out there.
Did you watch LeBron James pass Wilt Chamberlain?
He's awesome, man.
As the number 5 all-time leading scorer? Do you know LeBron James is not even a quote-unquote scorer?
I know.
LeBron James needed 3 points. He needed 2 points to tie.
Yep.
He needed 3 points to pass Wilt Chamberlain. What does LeBron go do?
About what, 44?
No, listen. He had like 37, and he needed. No, listen.
Oh, okay.
He had 37, and he needed 3 points to pass Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, okay.
At the time.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
ISO.
Yep.
And one.
Yep.
Goes right to the free. He ties Wilt Chamberlain. Goes right to the free throw.
Yep.
Bang.
Yeah. He's good, man.
16-year LeBron James goes for 44, 10, and 9.
He's incredible, man. And when they get that thing assembled the way he wants it, I'm telling you, better watch out, man. He don't finish strong.
Where's all our callers who say you know who they put a beat down on last night? The Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah.
The same Portland Trailblazers that buzzsawed the Lakers at the beginning of the year. They had I'm telling you, it's gonna be different here. Yeah. Now they're on a 4-game winning streak.
Yeah. Made a few moves. You got Tyson Chandler in there. Man.
Look, and here comes the people. Oh, you need to go get a champion in Tyson Chandler.
Dang right you did. Wait till he goes and gets a Kevin Durant next year and Anthony Davis next year.
Right?
Yeah, then watch him play.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you see him, he's out there he's still, think about this, Steve. If you had 6 points, 9 assists, and 10 rebounds, you would be considered an all-star.
Yeah.
6 points.
Well, maybe not 6 points.
6, 10, and 9 consistently. Do one of them Yariches or something. They're making all-star teams with those numbers.
Yeah.
LeBron's putting up. Look, and I'm saying 6, 10, and 9 if you're a point guard,
Yeah.
Like the Chris Pauls and Rondos. Oh, he's a leader, He's one of those point guards that just keeps,
throwing a few 17 assist game and
right,
stuff. Yeah.
Right. That man went for 44.
I know.
On the Portland Trailblazers.
That means he accounted for at least
40%.
60-some points.
You don't even want to do the threes number.
At least.
He went like 4 for 5 from the 3-point line in the third quarter.
That's just stupid. That's absolutely stupid.
That's just absolutely ridiculous. Where are our LeBron James haters right now? Where are our Philly calls at?
Yeah, where is Philly Carl? That's what I want to know.
He has went and hid under an absolute rock. And Philly Carl, when you call in and start saying that, oh, I work with the veterans, so I wasn't able to.
Man, I had some dude on the week the Eagles got busted, and then Villanova went up.
I did this charity for the servicemen of the United States of America, praise God. Just like Philly.
Michigan come in and just waxed Villanova last night.
We ain't heard from Philly Carl. Look, you should be angry about that.
Yes.
Cowboys put that beat down on Philly.
Zeke jumped over a human being, man.
And you ain't called in 72 hours?
Yeah, that's bad, man.
Was that Monday night, Sunday night?
That's bad.
You ain't.
Yeah.
And how about this? He likes Louisville too. So he's been wanting to call in. Think about this.
I know.
Philly got busted.
I know.
Petrino got fired.
Yeah.
Which he was wanting. Villanova got busted.
Yeah.
Signing day's been awesome.
Things are going great for Louisville right now.
We ain't heard from Philly Carl in 4 days,
I know.
Steve.
Yeah.
Boy, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Should be.
Philly.
Sad, really.
Goodness gracious. I hope we make a commercial out of this. Clay, thanks for joining us on 93.9, my man. What's on your mind?
Hey, first of all, where can I hear you guys?
Well,
I knew you all were on, but I couldn't get you on 93.9.
Well, 93.9's down, but we do have the YouTube stream going. Just go to youtube.com. We Are Made for the Village, the channel. You can hear it straight through there.
Okay, I'll follow you guys on there too.
Yeah,
okay,
and make sure you click subscribe.
Okay. All right, so I heard you all talking about Quinn Slazinski, and it's probably like a 3-part answer, but it's got to do with Quinn. It's got to do with Aiden Agahan. You all call Aiden Agahan a mini Montrez, but I think he's a bigger Montrez. But I hate to use the word sneaky athletic, but I wanted to explain what that means. I watch Quinn's all his highlights, and sneaky athletic has to do with I wouldn't punch on you all the time. So like when it came to Montrez, when he went to dunk under the basket, nobody would contest him most times, unless you had like a crazy defender that was trying to block every shot. When it comes to like Quinn Slazinski, he is athletic. He's not your rag man who if he did dunk on somebody, you'd be surprised.
Right.
He can actually punch on somebody. He is athletic, but you're not expecting it. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Listen, I appreciate the call. I mean, yeah, like sneaky athletic is don't feel uncomfortable with that, because Stephen Enoch is sneaky athletic as well. Like
Absolutely.
like when you see him do his jump hook left and right hand, you assume he's kind of flat-footed.
Yeah.
He's not.
No.
Yeah, so yeah, we don't have to turn that into cliche thing. Slazinski is an athletic who's just moving into his body. Jordan Nwora is the athleticism kind of came later. His skill set came early. That's why he looks a little awkward when he dunks. Like you can't tell when he's gonna dunk or not.
Yeah.
Now you're starting to get comfortable, but it's there. VJ is like overly athletic. You know what I'm saying? Like you're surprised when he doesn't dunk it, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Slazinski is.
I like
no,
him,
no,
man.
no. Here's the thing. Here's what I want to say right now, so it doesn't get unnoticed. Slazinski is the reason you go get Chris Mack, not for the coaching. It's the early Rick Pitino eye. It's this guy. I can see the quick twitch. I can see the glare in his eye. This is when Vince Tyree says you got to have a little intuition. Slazinski is an intuition recruit that's already starting to pay off, and it might seal you at a higher recruiting class than you originally thought. I tell you what, people, I don't want to get in trouble. We're at the top of the hour. Let's break out of here, Brian, on this one. We're going to talk a little bit more about the recruits. I'll detail them just so you could have some office fodder. We're getting ready for this Chewy's. This Mr. Delivery thing is awesome. People, at Scores and Sons Collision Center is going to be your best friend.
No, you fight through this one.
93.9 The Ville.
You all right?
TVs, there are no bad seats in the house. Great food, great drinks, great atmosphere. The Twirl Pub under the bridge. A unique underground dining experience.
lot of people.
Larry, good afternoon. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, guys. First off, I want to thank you for being in the studio. Wherever you're at, thank you for being on the air today.
When breaking news happens, we cover it right here on ESPN Louisville.
This season, remember that 8 out of 10 Americans feel it's okay to regift. Candles, books, picture frames, all likely to end up collecting dust in someone else's closet. Be sensible this year and give wash books from Mike's Car Wash. Buy wash books at any Mike's location or at mikescarwash.com. Plus, during November, buy 4 washes and get 3 free on our Ultimate and Works wash books. A Mike's wash book is the practical way to say Merry Christmas and prevent regifting. Because after all, everyone washes their car.
Matt here, head brewer and owner at Great Flood Brewing Company. The way we make our beer is important because of the people who drink it. Brewed for those who share a connection to the community, we use the finest ingredients and best practices to honor our history and build upon it. Louisville made, brewer owned. Find Great Flood 6-packs at your local retailers throughout the city. Learn more and follow our journey at greatfloodbrewing.com.
Want to be part of the show? Hit us up on the Fan Outfitters Twitter feed at 939 The Ville.
This is Marcus Maven, and you're listening to 93.9 The Ville from the OPC Services Studio.
Middays with Marcus Maben on 93.9 The Ville is broadcasting live from the OPC Pest Services Studio. Now, here's Marcus Maben and Steve Rummage.
Welcome back. Welcome back. It's Midday with Marcus Maben, 8150. 93.9 is the number. 93.9 is the station. People, we're rolling along. We're at the halfway point. So this is the point of the show where we always do what we can for you. Steve, you got something for him?
I do. I'm going to kind of try to rush through the next hour of the show so that way we can get to the end because it's Mr. Delivery Thursday. Thanks to Tommy and Mr. Delivery team for bringing by Chewy's Tex-Mex to the ESPN Louisville studios. Perfect for the weather today or just order in. Cater for the office or the big games this weekend. Use promo code ESPN for a discount on your first order. Download the new app or head to MrDelivery.com. Local restaurants deliver.
Don't let that just slide by. Weather like this, to order for the office, cater for the office, everybody can pitch in a certain amount. It will cover your expenses. It's worth it. It's worth
clutch,
it to
man.
try Mr. Delivery. The office is happier. They portion it off the exact way they need to. It just makes for a happy environment. You see how happy Steve is already?
I am, and you just see some poor guy pulling up when, he'll have all your food in a bunch of bags. He'll be freezing cold. He'll bring your food in. He'll set it down in the office. You say, thank you. You eat. It's that easy. It's that easy, man.
You eat and you laugh.
Unfortunately, our poor guy is Phil Baker. Yeah. I told Phil, look, Phil, I'm going to need you to be here around noon today. Phil told me he would be here at noon.
How guilty do you feel when you have requests about the time he comes in when you're getting free food? I mean, we have about an 18-minute window.
I know.
Sometimes we get the food at the beginning of the window. Sometimes we get it at the back end of the window.
Phil always comes through, but I do feel sometimes I feel bad because I kind of look at him like, thanks.
What took you so long?
Been off the air for 20 minutes. He's like, what the crap, man?
Right.
Hey.
Right. But listen, we do, people, just so you know, we go above and beyond to make sure we let Phil Baker know how appreciative
it, man.
So here's what we're going to do, people. Now, through our partnership with the Galt House, they have decided to make sure that you are the happiest pregame listeners on the planet.
Yeah.
So this is what they do. They say, hey, Marcus, is there anything, how can we help you? Say, you can give them something. You can give everybody something for their support. They come by the flow of traffic through the Galt House. Just people, 100 people just walking by and throwing up the L's on their way to the game.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Some sit down, some talk right at the front of right at the front of the room. They play it over the loudspeaker. People, you're never in a rush if you get to the Galt House early. If you get to Al J's in the Galt House early, it is warm, it is comfortable, it is a quick shot over to your seat. The entrance on that side to get into the Yum Center, it's quick, it's well staffed, and they're not harassing you. They're not. It's just an awesome experience. So here's the thing: all that awesomeness. This is what we did. We decided the way we were going to give away prizes were to gauge people's involvement by simply putting hashtag Team 105 through Twitter, through Instagram. Say something to us, hashtag Team 105. This is what we're giving away right now. So just so you know, and people on We Are Made for the Ville on the YouTube channel, We Are Made for the Ville, you can see that I'm reading as we speak. Bourbon Brisket Beer Bluegrass gift certificate. Down One Bourbon Bar. This certificate right here, right in my hands. The bearer, treat your team. That means 6 people. Treat your team to a holiday celebration at Down One. We're talking cocktails and appetizers up to $150. Just that simple. All you have to do is say, what's up? Let me get those tickets. You know, hey, we listen to the pregame show. We listen to the regular show. I mean, listen, our advertisers know we don't just squeeze you to a quick pregame show. I share. You know, it's a perk of mine. I'm able to share advertisement from midday, pregame. We want our sponsors as happy as humanly possible.
Yeah. That
way they get more than what they bargained for, and we love doing it. So we're happy. But right now, people, this gift certificate will be given out. We'll pick the random hashtag Team 105, and just whatever comment just gives us a good feeling, you know. And I'm not going to be doing the choosing, so you don't have to tell me how cool I am. You could talk about how cool Steve is, because he's not going to be one giving it away. Brian Hall's not giving away. Talk about how cool anybody else is, or just anything about the pregame show. Just make sure you put hashtag Team 105, and like I said, we're gonna randomize all those hashtags and give this certificate for 6. How about I just act like I gave it out?
I know, we just keep it. Because, look, here's the deal, man. I told you, we got a big Friday night, man.
It's time for you to start having a bourbon with me, Steve. Grow up, man.
Look, here's the thing. We're
You're 30 years old. It's time to have a bourbon.
We're going to do the pregame. I wouldn't be bourbon if I was in that. But we're going to do pregame.
What would it be, Steve? We'll get that later.
We're going to the game. Going to go to Jeff Ruby's. My guy over there is waiting on us. You're going out with us. It's an anniversary dinner, and you're going out with us.
Okay.
My wife wants you to go.
Let's say I bring a date.
It's a table for 4.
Let me ask you this. Would you prefer that I brought a date that was electric or a little more tame, hypothetically?
No, I don't care. You know. Yeah. You've never brought a female around that I didn't like, honestly. So I'm good. I trust you.
I've never brought any females around you, Steve.
Yeah.
It's never happened.
No. No.
No, it's always us 3.
So we're going to go out there, and then after Jeff Ruby's.
Wait a minute. You Steve and Charity? Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. Whatever. Don't worry about it. No, but after Jeff Ruby's, they take care of us over there. I'm going to get a fat slice of that carrot cake. Oh, my God. It's the best carrot cake on the planet, dude. Hey, by the way, shout out to our guys over at Jeff Ruby's. It was like, hey, when you get here, tell him to ask for me, man. I'll get y'all together.
He sure did.
And he gets us together.
So people.
Talking a fat, just 3 or 4 desserts.
Give Steve his props on this one. Steve made sure I met his contact this time.
Yeah. I was like, hey, it's my guy over at Ruby's.
Right. Steve was like, hey, Marcus, I want you to meet my guy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
It's my dude. He kind of takes care of it. But after that, I'm going to go back over to Alja's, man. Chill for a little while. Got a room. Gonna get a room, you know.
I definitely will be chilling. But again, people, be sure to be tuned in. That's where I will make the announcement. Hashtag Team 105. You got today. You should do it now. You should subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get that. Okay, so Steve, we kind of touched into the now this is okay if your answer is not as excitable as maybe the fans want you to be. So when we say, how important is it that these deals, these national letter of intent deals, were just like signed, sealed, and delivered? Like where does that rank to you just in importance? Like, was there any nerves that you weren't going to land this class or that any of this conversation? Like, do you spike the ball and say, I told you none of this conversation about Louisville and guys who think the program is whatever?
Yeah.
The guy calls in and says about the program.
Yeah.
What do you think, like, how important is this?
No, I think it's huge. The reason it is huge is because it also, I think, raised excitement for this season because it took some pressure off. Because Louisville fans this year, no matter what happens, we want to win, okay? And I've already found myself like,
that's a good point.
Hey, coach, like, come on, man. I mean, you're coming up into this season, like,
listen,
get it together. You know,
4-point game, Nichols, Roy, coach.
Right. But if you don't have, okay, say he got like 1 3-star kid, and you're like, you know, you're going, man, if we're not good this year, like, man, I don't know if we're going to have more talent next year. I mean,
right.
It may be a couple of bad
years. Because this is a talented team.
Yeah. Whereas now,
and if you can't work this talent into something representative, I'm scared.
Yeah, and if I'm looking and there's no recruits coming in, I'm going, oh, man, we're not going to be able to recruit. But now you're going, let's go out there and get this team together this year. You know, hey, let's make a run. Like, we're going to be in it. We're going to be in it. But, man, we know next year we're going to have a top 10 team. Like, I mean, like, you know, the pressure is
back to your point. So I made this comment, but this kind of put more pressure on it. When I said this team is so talented that I give you less of a pass.
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying you pick up that pass by having a recruiting class like that.
Well, you pick up that pass because the recruiting class, you feel like the majority of this team is going to be back with that recruiting class next year. So you say you almost look ahead at how talented.
So that's what you're. But okay. But even before you get there, like with this team, like you're still not like under pressure about can he develop this talent that's already here? Like
no, because
you still got to be quick with your talent development.
No, but you do, but you don't
because he was here all summer.
Yeah, but in the same breath. With that, because that was the main question, was the recruiting class. The recruiting class, I think, allows you to go, you know what? Even in the losses, you're gonna be angry, and then a couple hours later, you're gonna go, yeah, he is, you know, Malik is doing this more now, and this guy's doing this more now. Like they're getting it together, man. And next year, you know, they're gonna like you always have that. Whereas if you didn't have any guys coming in next year, I think you would almost be like, man, Malik's getting it together. I mean, if he goes pro.
We're in trouble.
I know, yeah. Like, man, he's got 1 3-star coming in. I mean, now you got the number. You're going to have a top. I mean, right now it still sits at number 1.
But 5. It's got to be 5.
I think it'd be 8. It'd be top 8 for sure. So
just because I was so early.
There's a lot of uncommitted guys.
Our splash is dead though.
Yeah, I think so because you're not going to get anybody else. I honestly think if he gets anybody else, I think. If a guy like Ryan grad transferred, for instance, I think you go get a grad transfer point guard.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Does the way we perform this year make or break the perception of the recruiting class? Because you know me, if you have a player that you think Mac in particular can work, it moves people's appreciation, right?
Yeah.
So if this team does not perform well, does it knock down a recruiting class? Because it's like, okay, it turns Samuel Williamson into more of a project. It turns Aiden Gahan into more. Well, if you can't get Malik Williams to ball, if you can't get Stephen Enoch to really ball, or Jordan Warren with all his potential, how do I know you're going to get Samuel Williamson or Jalen Withers?
Well, for me, it's somewhat along those lines, but it turns them into must contributors.
The freshman.
Yeah, and you may look at them different if you look at them and go, man, he's got to play. That's why, I mean, because I'm already kind of doing it with David Johnson. Because I'm watching David Johnson differently than I'm watching the other.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's the biggest need. I mean, you're going to lose Christian Cunningham next year. You're going to lose Quan Ford. You're going to lose 2 people out of that backcourt. I really believe David Johnson, out of necessity, is going to start at the point guard position next year, unless Darius does some. I just don't think Darius is a point guard. Yeah, he can do it, but I think so. I'm watching David Johnson under the microscope of, dude, you may be the starter. I'm watching Samuel Williamson under the microscope of, well, we got VJ, but you could take his spot. And I'm watching Aiden Agahan under the microscope of, we got some pretty good big men. If you get the spot, you're going to earn it.
Yeah. Listen, like I said, I just wanted to float the question out there a little bit because, like I said, I'm not wait till next year guy. Like
me either.
The most growth I give you is 3 games.
Right.
I need to see if there's a big time problem, you got 3 games to fix it. Like if toughness is an issue, you got 3 games before I start saying, okay, that guy's not tough. You need him. I'm speaking kind of in hyperbole, but you get my point.
Yeah.
Like if there's a ball security problem in 3 games, I should not see a ball security problem because he has to be either you or the player. That's not getting. Like I just want to see constant development.
Yeah, well, that's what I think this stretch we're on now is going to do. You've been allowed to watch the team twice. No, we'll go 3 times. We'll go red, white game. Or I'm sorry, we'll go 4 times because we'll count exhibitions.
Let's just count Bellarmine.
Let's count Bellarmine, Nichols, and Southern. And the red, white game. I'll count that because they were playing against each other, I think, and they're kind of – so, but I've been able to watch the team. I feel like that – I won't count red, white game, and I'll tell you why I'm not going to count it here in a second. I feel like that I've saw improvement up until now against inferior talent. Red, white game's not inferior talent because I think your backups.
But it's still comfortable.
Yeah.
Y'all out there, you pretty much know everything.
Yeah, so this stretch, I think we're going to learn a little more. Because we're changing expectations by the day. Yesterday, I talked to somebody. I said, "Man, I think they could win up at Seton Hall." And we're both like, and I'm talking to Pat Jaggers, Patty Ice, and we're going, "Yeah, but I mean, it's going to be tough." Well, after watching Seton Hall last night, I said, "I think we should probably win that game now."
Vermont put up 122 on somebody.
It was an absolute nobody, but it's still 122. I mean, that's a lot of points.
122, yeah. Steve. You just said yesterday, if my team puts up 104, right?
Yeah.
I'm not scoffing at it.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, you're able to do that. But now I think.
Oh, that'll be a nightmare texter. I think we'll start 4 freshmen. No way.
No. And unless we lose a few guys, there's no way. I mean, Jordan Ward, nobody's coming in starting over Jordan Ward. Nobody's coming in starting over Malik or Steve.
I think you need to slow down about the guarantee that Ward is going to be back as well.
Oh, sure, could be.
Yeah. Scores like that, man. They can go put in work, and he has one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I go to NBA camp.
I just feel like he's going to get on the radar this year. I feel like he's going to get on the radar this year, and I feel like next year he's going to come into the season.
He has a look in his eye, man.
Oh, he may go.
Be careful.
I hope he does.
Okay, but back to your point.
Yeah, because if he's good enough to go, we're pretty good.
Back to your original point.
I just think that with those guys coming in, I mean, and you watch this team and the expectations kind of are changing for this team. We're going to find now, we've saw what you can do against inferior talent, and you got better each game, I felt like. Now let's see what you can do against
Vermont's
equal.
Legit.
Yeah, but Vermont is not equal talent. I will say that.
Game-wise, they are.
But yes, team-wise, game-wise, they are. You're going to see – so we're going to see what they can do against a team that is very fundamental, basically a better Bellarmine. And Bellarmine Hunt.
Much better Bellarmine.
Yeah, but it's the – yeah, well, sure. I mean, you can gauge where the better is, but it's but next week you're going to start and you're going to see what they do against teams that are as talented or more talented. Can you start –
Now Chris Mack's coaching is going to start coming into play.
Yes, because you're going to play from behind in a lot of these games. You're going to play from behind against Tennessee. You're going to play – if you were to beat Tennessee, of course, expectations change then. You're going to play behind against Kansas. If you lose to Tennessee, I think you're going to turn around and you're going to go, okay, Marquette's more of an even –
Marquette just got smacked too, didn't they?
Indiana bust them last night, yeah. But again, that's where expectations are changing. I'm looking at Indiana now and I'm going, I don't know, maybe that one's going to be tougher, tougher than we all thought. Of course, I said a long time ago, I thought they would go up there and lose that game. So that's just kind of
in Bloomington. You're getting busted.
I do think I think they can beat Michigan State here. I'm just not a Michigan State guy. I feel like Michigan State lost 2 lottery picks. They replenished nothing on that team. And I think they got a top 10 ranking for that champions class.
But they have their cultures just so established.
They do.
Already. So,
no, they absolutely do.
Yeah,
but I think
what I'm
the more I
adults.
watch Steve Enoch and Malik Williams, the more I think you can contain Nick Ward. And if you can do that, you can beat them at home. And I mean, that's in a week and a half. So
okay, well, let me do this. We'll step out of that for a second, and let me put a bow tie on the conversation, because I gotta admit, if for people who know, if you're a regular sports radio listener in the area, one of the kind of behind the scenes side conversations has been the fact of Coach Mack kind of closing down the locker room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know how much of this is a big deal to you or a big deal to somebody else, but to me, originally I was 100% just player centric. I never liked it when I was young. I didn't like coming out of the shower and having a locker room full of, adults with a look in their eye like they were just waiting to catch somebody screwing up, Like I didn't like opening my gym bag and, them sitting next to me and my teammate's chair to talk to me, all that stuff always made me uncomfortable. So I was probably very jaded on my opinion. And then of course I'm good. I think I'm good about being empathetic, listening to other media. I heard what Eric Crawford had to say. I heard Jeff Greer, what they had to say. Now I know some certain media, like I heard Mark Blankenbaker. I mean, so I know some guys relish the interpersonal connection with the team like that. And I'm aware, like I said, to me, maybe I focused too much on the guys who I thought were just in the locker room to be kind of harmful, to create narratives, to pick and prod until they got something salacious,
right.
Working constantly. So I was in more of a defense mode. Over time, I understand why the true media, just feel like that's just a big loss for the media world. I haven't quite changed my opinion, but I softened up on it. So let me ask you this, Steve. What would you say about just because it's a dangerous thing I'm gonna suggest, rating people's ability to be in the locker room. I'm gonna look at your collection. I'm gonna look at your stories. If I feel like you're fair media, give you a locker room pass.
I don't think you can do that. I mean, there's no way that would work, because then the people,
it's still a power play by the university.
Yeah, I mean, it's worse.
Yeah, right. That's what I thought.
That's worse.
That'd be brutal.
You do this to avoid those type of situations. Because I don't think I'm saying
it's
got to
be all
here.
or nothing.
I mean, Tim Sullivan's a guy who's probably salivating to get to VJ King. So what do? Tim Sullivan is one of the better, what's the word I'm looking for? Reporters.
Yeah. The most thorough.
Yeah, investigative reporters in the city. I don't want you talking to VJ King. So what do I say? Well, Tim Sullivan, you're not allowed in because I don't think you're fair.
That's defensive, Steve.
No, that's what they would have to do.
Right.
That's what the university would have to do. I mean, according to what you're saying. So that just wouldn't. There is no way that would work.
In hindsight, you're just 100% like, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. And
listen, open media locker rooms is an antiquated idea, in my opinion. We're past that. To me.
Well, I don't like it. At all. I think here's the difference. And I heard I think it may have been Andy saying this on with Jason or somebody. I'm pretty sure Andy said it though. He was talking about Calipari, and he used the word Cal hides players. I agree, but I call it protect.
Right.
So what you call hide, I call protect. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem that if one of Calipari's players come up in question, if he's like, you're not talking to him.
Right, and because you could always use that same argument when it's kids are convenient. When you want to use kids emotional. These kids are emotional. They're still crying because they either lost or they got benched.
But turn around. Tournament and stuff like that, the locker rooms are open.
I hated that too.
Yeah, but I mean but so you're not missing out on that. And here's the thing.
Yes, I hated it, Steve, because I was at the tournament, contrary to popular belief.
It's like you did it twice.
Hey, Brian. Twice. At the 58-minute mark.
Marcus hates the tournament
at
media.
At 11:30.
He had to sit through it 2 times.
At 11:30.
Not 2 separate tournaments, just 2 times.
Get Steve Rummage. Get that sound of what he just said about Marcus only had to deal with the media twice, right? Because I need this, because this is going to be in the court documents. Twice. When Steve Rummage is at Midnight with Steve Rummage and Marcus Maben is on ESPN in Bristol, and they're going to say, hey, Marcus, why'd you leave Steve behind?
Yeah.
I'm going to say, y'all remember on November 15th, the year of our Lord, 2019, and Steve made jokes about my only 2 tournament appearances. Actually, you know what's funny about that? I got called to do a drug test. So I really only talked to.
I was gonna say one of the legendary stories is after one of your tournament losses. I'm not getting into detail on that. That's business, but
yeah, I was called out for random drug tests.
Yeah, I heard you wasn't the only one. So yeah, so we'll leave that at that. I
was still eligible after that.
Yes, and you may have been the only one. So we'll talk about that. But here's the thing.
Point being media,
I just feel like that.
And this is not against the media. Like
no.
Keep in mind, I'm working with the guys who were in the locker room at the time, and it wasn't you in particular. I didn't like. I felt like I needed more time. Before I had to put on.
That's why I said yesterday I didn't go. I think a lot of people expected us to kind of go, oh, the media, y'all need to shut your mouths because it's like you. They have a job.
Over time, I softened up my stance on that.
Well, but even
still,
yesterday,
at the end of the day, I tilt left. But,
me too. But even yesterday, I don't think that we did that. I mean, I think that I'm just saying I'm okay. And I actually, if I get a word with Coach Mack, which we do at times, I'll commend him. Good.
What is public perception? Because basically the tone across the board is only certain media really care about this, or most media care about it, and the fans don't really do it.
Well, what I will say this. What I don't like is certain media kind of attacking other media. I don't like look, there are some big dogs in this city. But people that write blogs and people that do that, like, I don't like how some media has diminished what they do as to say.
Like, you're just a blogger, you mean?
Yeah, almost as to say, well, I mean,
like I really should be here.
We're the real media. You guys are kind of just in there,
right.
It's a charity case. That I think is wrong, because you may have got degrees and did what you had to do and did everything, and you're a big time, but that's why you're held in such high esteem. But
yeah, that's a rabbit hole argument.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm gonna sit right there and say, I had to realize that I know as much about this as you do. You may know stats, I know intimate details.
Yeah, and you deserve the praise you get for getting the degrees you got and going through and the years of experience you have in this.
Right.
You deserve that praise, but that don't make you smarter than me about the game of basketball.
That's on the job training versus schooling.
Hey, you may talk better than me grammatically, but that don't mean you know more about this team than I do.
All right, so Marcos, let's rewind 5 minutes and listen to Steve.
Yeah, but I mean so you're not missing out on that. And here's the thing.
Yes, I hated it, Steve, because I was at the tournament, contrary to popular belief.
It's like you did it twice.
See, that pause is what I needed. That pause is the moment, people. When they say that was the moment he knew, messed up.
You did it twice.
That pause is exactly what I need in my life.
Hey, I'm just saying. Like, you brought that on. So I don't know. I'm personally, I like it. I hope it continues.
The block on the locker room.
Yeah.
You kind of would prefer that.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not like Louisville's doing it. Nobody else is doing it. Heck, Louisville's one of the only schools that allowed you in the locker room.
And what the last thought I had about it, how many times did I hear Louisville complimented on keeping their locker room doors open?
Very rarely.
Most people didn't even know Louisville was the only place that.
No, I didn't.
That's my point.
Yeah, I didn't.
That's my point. Like sometimes we overly thank people for for things. I would just have liked to be able to say I knew that the locker room was always open because Rick made it a point to say my guys are mature enough to handle a press conference.
Sure. Well, yeah. And here's the thing. One thing I heard Mark Blankenbaker say this morning. I will disagree with him on is he said a lot of the big. Well, I agree and disagree. He said a lot of the big moments came from those, and he was talking about when they would take his camera and you'd have the different things. And I agree with him on that, but all those moments really came from the tournaments. I mean, when I think of those moments, I remember.
Yeah, say locker room moments.
Yeah, I remember the 05 team with the Otis boot. Otis George boot and stuff, and Sosa's going around interviewing people. I remember in the tournament when they asked Earl Clark when they were in the 09, they were interviewing. I think it was Sosa again.
But again, content is the property of the universities now. So locker room, what if Louisville?
Sosa wasn't in 05. That was Larry O'Bannon. Sosa was 09 when he was interviewing Earl Clark.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You're pointing out the moments. You're mad at yourself on the dates, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, like when we have meetings about the content we post, now we have to be secure of, do we own this content? Because footage is your phone footage. Now, if you get something in the locker room, right? You get a fight in the locker room. That's your content to have on your website.
Yeah.
And now we got to argue about who owns that, right? No. Like this is the copyright on content is such a big fight now.
Yeah.
Think about it. We can't even have music playing in the background of the YouTube channel without getting a content violation.
Yeah.
So listen, do you know how valuable it is if Louisville reclaims their right to locker room content? We're the only ones with locker room footage. But it's our team, and it's our university. And if you want to know how some people feel, we have an ACC network now. We have our own. We have our own basketball marketing department can do that just as fast as any media does now, and that's uncomfortable, but it's still true.
Well, yes, but in the same breath, I mean, while we're spending actual time on them not allowing you in the locker room, they've also opened up. This is why fans, I think, scoffed at it a little bit. Because you have more access to the basketball teams and the football teams under Vince Tyre than we've ever had. Chris Mack opened up scrimmages.
That is an awesome, excellent
where
point.
You're playing with the recruits.
Open scrimmages
with the recruits. I mean, there's been more.
Dude,
you did
Trey Lewis.
Live.
Trey Lewis and Ryan McMahon were going at it, and that was a fantasy conversation, Steve.
Yes.
And it happened.
Yes. I mean, so you got to physically go watch Samuel Williamson. You get the video of him putting the up and under on Jordan Moore. I mean, it was like I mean,
people getting dunked on.
Yes. I mean, so that's why I say you have more access to the team than you've ever had.
Right. So don't fear the control of it, because you have to trust that your people in leadership are doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah. So that's why.
If you feel like they're really blocking, and if you really feel like they're doing something sinister, then you can report about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, no, yeah, that's you're right. Like I said, but I understand.
They might not be happy about it, but
right.
So you're right.
And I understand both sides of the argument. Again, I do opinionated radio, so player interviews to me don't mean a lot. So,
I already know what they're thinking anyway.
Yeah.
One last commercial break before we wrap things up. Midday with Marcus Maben, 8150-939 is the number on 939 DeVille.
Are you ready to sell your home? Well, there couldn't be a better time. Houses are going for top dollar and selling quickly. You need to call Jill Blessinger with Keller Williams.
email, or even send in an MP3 recording. It's the Brag Line, brought to you by the YMCA Louisville. Let your kids score big at the YMCA. Develop skills and build confidence. Register your child for youth sports at ymcalouisville.org.
What good is it having that beautiful view
Hey guys.
backyard if
The guy's gonna come in here and work on the streaming computer, so once I get you back up, I'm gonna be sitting right here, but just kind of if you need something, give me a heads up.
time to make that call?
What's up?
Plus, they have the
That's fine.
transferable warranty, the best installation in town, quality products, doors, windows, siding, and gutters. They've also been voted the most efficient for 2018 and an A+ Better Business Bureau rating and all 5-star reviews, which means these are exactly the new windows you've been looking for. So go visit them at 11501 Plantside Drive, Louisville, Kentucky, or 502-494-0120. That's Windows Plus. Make the call.
We'll come back in about a minute 30.
ESPN Louisville is on the air first and always provides the most coverage in the Ville.
3 weeks into it, I felt compelled to change the timeline and let's try to reinvigorate the program starting now rather than at the end of the year.
ESPN 680, 1057, and 93.9 The Ville provided more than 12 hours of live coverage.
Drew Diener's with us. Bob Valvano here, special edition of ESPN 680, 93.9 The Ville. Bobby Petrino relieved of his duties.
He saw a team vastly underperforming, and why allow that to go on for 2 more weeks? I mean, it's almost like a 2-week tryout for some of these, obviously, the players that are coming back.
And we were the first place that let you, the fans, speak your mind.
It's a big day for the Cards, so I'm definitely very, very excited.
Now he's gone. Now you can have some fun. Now you can end the year with some positive memories.
When breaking news happens, we cover it right here on ESPN Louisville.
What's up?
Chances are you read
Do what now?
about it or thought about it or might even.
Yeah, that works. I'll get you out of there. We'll let him come in.
And boy, do we have the place for you. Globe Auto Sales. Family owned and operated, serving the greater Kentuckiana area since 1972. Why Globe Auto Sales? Well, the answer is simple. The staff at Globe Auto Sales focuses entirely on the quality buying experience, not the high-pressured sales pitch you get at other places. So while you're thinking about it, stop by Globe Auto Sales located at 5705 Bardstown Road. Check out their inventory at Globe Autos online. Oh, and be sure to tell them you're a friend of 93.9 The Ville.
This is Drew Diener, and you're listening to 93.9 The Ville, live from the OPC Services Studio.
Middays with Marcus Maben on 93.9 The Ville is broadcasting live from the OPC Pest Services Studio. Now, here's Marcus Maben and Steve Rummage.
Welcome back. It's midday with Marcus Maben, 8150. 93.9 is the number. 93.9 is the station. People, just to put a bow tie on all the conversation we had, we decided that we're okay with Chris Mack probably deciding to follow suit on most universities and kind of close the locker room. We'll give you 3 guys, but let's be easy, guys. I softened up on my stance, but that's okay. Another conversation we had to have, give Coach Mack his props. We got to this season. We got to this day. We got to National Letter of Intent signing day, and he closed the deal with 5 out of 6, and the 6 is very, very comfortable. He picked up a Zielinski deal that he might have ended up being a walk-on, but the way it's looking, this guy might be a contributor a lot sooner than we thought. He has a baby Tatum. He has a baby Trez. He has a 6'7" Ryan McMahon, and he has just a baller in Josh Nickelberry. And David Johnson is local adult. He has an adult-ish game, an adult-ish personality. You're just going to like that guy, hands down. And he has a little bit of just baller, too.
Yeah.
He's much more comfortable with a baller. So here's the thing. You had that. We are waiting to see this North Carolina State situation develop. This whammy situation, there's some energy coming out. Now, listen, don't get in front of the media talking about how the culture's changed and talking about how we're ready to go and all this. You better be ready to, to put it out there in the court. Because look, Steve and I know the consequences of a big build-up and a bad result. You don't want to do that because then it turns into maybe he wasn't the problem.
Yeah, maybe the players. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Because listen, listen. We know how fast it turns into.
Well, of course, I think that would still be an indictment on the coach because you would say, okay, maybe you were misevaluating talent, but it's what it would do is next year you would start to go, maybe he don't have a full cupboard. You know,
right? If they don't play good, the price. Look, Brahms' price might go up.
Yeah,
that could easily happen. So one more thing, Steve, that we got to talk about before we get out of here. Now I know this is not Mr. Professional Football Show, but we keep our eye on the guy. Our eye on the guy that is Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
people. By hook or by crook, you may get to see Lamar Jackson at a much more involved role, Steve. And when I say much more involved, what do you say?
Well, starting. I mean, you may seem start. I mean, due to injury.
Oh my goodness.
Which
I'm not ready for that.
Which for me is gonna go. I don't know, man. It's one of those things where it's like. I want to see my baby go. It's why I held my son probably a year longer than I should have before I let him start playing football. Because I was like, I want to see you play, man, but I just don't think you're ready. Not yet, you know, and I think I should have put him a year. So maybe a year earlier. With Lamar, it's almost like, man, I want to see him start.
You just don't want to see him fail.
Vegas is I'll tell you what, all jokes aside, I was looking through my betting app and stuff and looking at the NFL games. That game don't have a line. So they're waiting on that one. I think they're
doing their research.
Yeah, we're going to see about this. I don't know, man.
I'm listening.
Part of me says
let him go.
Yeah.
Because a starter has a different
especially if Joe's hurt.
Right. A starter has a different level of confidence.
That means he's not coming in.
And he's not staring over my shoulder, and he's not passive aggressive, telling me, oh, you should look for the running back out of the backfield every single time, Lamar.
I know.
Like, hey, never try to throw it downfield. Hey, that one, Crabtree wasn't open.
See, part of me says he will come in and the element of surprise, but then the other part
there will be no element of surprise with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I think there will. Because I think even though you may not be surprised by how good he is, it's still different when he puts the foot in the dirt and takes off. I think that those guys dealing with that for an entire game will be different than watching him or seeing him in spurts.
And he won't be forcing the run the same way.
I did hear Blankenbaker talk about this morning. Did you hear? I thought it was a cool story.
I heard absolutely not.
He said Jerry Jeudy from Alabama was telling the story of how he has started using the Lamar Jackson, because he said him and Lamar Jackson played backyard football together as kids, and said Lamar just dusted him on that.
Yeah, on the little dead leg thing. Yeah,
and he said he's kind of went back to that after watching Lamar and said, I've kind of added that to my game and credits that for being where he's at today.
I know.
Yeah,
I know that dead leg step is the move that's what made me say Heisman Trophy against Mississippi State.
Well, when you watched him freeze Myles Garrett,
right,
just freeze Myles Garrett
and go vertical
and take off, you were like, dude, Myles Garrett's gonna be the #1 pick in the draft.
Anybody that can, if you can go vertical on anybody, and make them miss, you're a player.
Yeah.
If you can beat somebody without having to take a long route around them, you can just get them leaning one way or the other.
Yeah.
You're an absolute problem. You're a gem. As the more you see that move, you look for that move and you say that's a successful player.
And it would be Cincinnati. It would be an interdivision game. I mean, if he starts, I'm going to be watching the whole thing. I'm going to be in.
Period.
Yeah, I'm going to be in. Part of me worries, though. We'll see. Because it could go either way, man. He could throw 3 picks, and you're like, and if he does, you're done.
Let it rip, Lamar. Don't try to be Mr. Touch. These are professional wide receivers. Hit them in the face with the ball. If they don't catch it, it's their fault.
Yeah.
I noticed sometimes he tries to turn into, a finesse guy. Fire that ball at their face.
I know.
Last year, everybody was calling him inaccurate because the ball hit him on the back of the helmet rather than the front of the face mask.
Yeah.
No, take them out. Throw some darts, baby. Put us back in Baltimore.
Text line said they're starting Lamar Jackson this week on their fantasy team. I may bench Brady and start Lamar.
Just on principle.
Just on principle. No,
I listen.
I was kidding. I'm not doing
My
that.
friend was asking me about a defensive things. I said, dude, you think I know one defensive stat out of the entire year? I start my Detroit Lions. I don't care what nobody say. Got a nice win last week, too. I'll take it. Even though they got blown out. By the Bears.
I took Carolina this weekend. Actually.
People.
-4.
Bill at Scorns and Sons Collision Center. I saw the roads. I saw the RAV4 on the side of the road. I saw the Prius on the side of the road. I saw the downed vehicles that hit the wall. Bill at Scorns and Sons Collision Center is the place you go. I saw the cars that won't make it to Bill at Scorns and Sons Collision Center. You need to go to Globe Auto ASAP. That's a fact. Windows Plus. You listen. Trees, damage, Windows Plus. It's a fact. Get the cheapest houses right now. Winter. Jill Blessinger, Becky Bleemel. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. Midday with Marcus Maben. Join us tomorrow, pregame show at Aldays. Subscribe. We are Made for the Ville YouTube channel. I saw everybody that joined us today. Don't leave the channel without subscribing. As always, 8150-939 is the number. 3831-939 is the text line. We are Made for the Ville, the YouTube channel. 10 to 12 is the time on 93.9 The Ville.